Morning everyone, Fiona Whitten from Oakville Crafts here, and it's Wednesday, so time, and it's the third Wednesday of the month, so it's time for a virtual card and a cuppa. Today's going to be a bit of an epic day for me. I'm not only do I get to share all this with you, but and I don't often say it, but I'm looking forward to getting an injection this afternoon because I'm off to get my first COVID jab, and I know, excitement comes, I can't believe it, finally. But anyway, enough of that. So hopefully those of you who ordered the kits for March have found your second kit. And I'll briefly run through what you should have in it. So as always, there's an envelope. Then you have a piece of Calypso Coral, which is half a sheet of A4 cardstock. So I already scored that, so that's your base card. You will have two pieces of basic white, one to go inside and one for the front if you choose to use it. You have a piece of the Butterfly Bijou Designer Series paper. So I'd like to show you in the catalogue, but actually this paper is only going to be available now until the 3rd of May. It's just an exclusive paper designed to go with the Brilliant Wings dies and the stamp set, which is the Butterfly Brilliant stamp set. And both the dies and the stamp will be in the new catalogue that will be out in at the beginning of May. But this is just an exclusive item that's only available until that comes out. So we've got a larger piece of the paper. You've got a strip of the paper. You then have a square of Calypso Coral, a square of basic white, a die cut butterfly. So I used the Saffron cardstock here, and you've got a small strip of white. And when I was looking at it this morning, I was thinking, why did I do that? But then I remembered. So that's what you should have in your kits, and hopefully that's what you do have. So these are the two cards that I have made so far. So I played around with the paper, played around with the cardstock a little bit. So this was the first one I made. And what I did was the piece of Whisper White that was cut for you to go on the front. I just trimmed it so that it was just slightly wider than the paper. Now I could have cut the paper as well so that there was a border all the way around. But as always, I thought about that afterwards, but I actually quite like this. I then bannered both ends of this white strip. For those of you who are kind of wondering how to do that, it's very simple. You just simply cut up the middle of the end to however far you want to go, and then you just then cut from the points to that point in the middle. And then when you remove that, you have a bannered end. This one I cut down and then bannered both ends, and then realised actually it wasn't quite long enough. So all I did is I then cut it in the middle and then stuck it underneath. So I kind of cheated on that. And so that's a quick way of doing it. So there's your white banner. It just stuck to the back of the Calypso Coral square. Glued the white on. Glued the butterfly on. I've only glued the body of the butterfly because I like to have the wings up to give some dimension. Obviously, when you're posting it or giving it to someone, it will be flat, but then you can through it or whatever and lift the wings a bit. And then I finished mine off with some of the holiday rhinestones. I like to have coloured rhinestones. I don't often use just the plain rhinestones. So I could use Stampin blends, but the holiday rhinestones come coloured. So they look like this. So it's much easier to just use those. So I used a mixture of the gold and the red on here. And then the inside is just the strip of paper, which looks like I've stuck it on upside down. Hey ho, never mind. Butterflies go up and down, so yes, I just stuck that in and then stuck the white in. So that was my first card that I have made. The second card, I played around with it a little more, and this is what it looks like. So I actually trimmed off part of the front of the card. So this piece here I trimmed off. Now if you've got some border dies or anything like that, and there's some great ones in the catalogue, then you could alternatively use those. Obviously you don't want to then decide that you want to make this a landscape card because it's just going to fall over. You could put some acetate on there to make it into a landscape card, but obviously I'm just keeping mine as portrait. So I've cut that back, and then I glued the white in and then glued the paper. Some of you may not like the fact that the paper goes completely top and bottom, but I wanted it to be that way for the front of the card, so that's how I left it. And again, I then trimmed my piece of white and the butterfly Bijou paper to fit onto this panel. And I will put all the, I put photographs, and I'll also put the instructions up for the cutting. What I tend to do is I'll open an album on my Facebook page and I will put all the photos in there. So there'll be a photo of the kit, and then with the cutting instructions for that. And then for each of the cards made, there will be some brief notes. I'm not going to go into every ins and out, but you will find on there just the basic where to cut and how to cut these, just so that you can replicate if you want to. It's really up to you. And then instead of putting the square on straight, I put it at an angle so it looks more like a diamond, and then glued my butterfly on and added some again of the holiday rhinestones. So these butterflies actually come from the Brilliant Wings dies. Just so the paper that we had for the first kit was cut out using this big die, and then the other items, dies that are in the set are just various little bits for background. So this piece will cut a brickwork type thing into your cardstock. Just thought I would show you that. And then this cuts bubbles, but these are the actual intricate dies. So I used, I want to say it's that one. But the nice thing about this is if you want to, you can, and I'll show you, you can just use that to cut out plain butterflies. So these are the Calypso Coral plain, but I just used a bit of scrap, which is why that large swallowtail one's got a crease in it. So it's good for using scrap, especially if you only want a couple of particular butterflies. So that one, if memory serves me, actually it might not be that one, is the one for, let's put this to one side, is the one for this die. So you could actually glue this to the back, and then that just adds even more dimension. So that's that. That's those. And then the stamp that I, because it's only one large stamp, I shared last week when I did quite a few cards last week on the Facebook Live. So hopefully, and it's saved to Facebook, so hopefully you can find that. Right, okay, so that's the two cards that I have made. I'll bring in my kit now and figure out what it is that I want to do with all of this. Excuse me. I was umming and ahhing about stamping on this piece of white, and I could do that if I had my big block, because the stamp itself is one large stamp, so you need to use either a very large block or a Stamparatus to stamp your image. I'd recommend the Stamparatus because it means that if you don't, and you will have seen it last week, if you don't manage to get the image stamped to your liking first time, you can re-ink and then just simply fold it back over and it will stamp exactly the same again. So you could do that. Now, let's see, how big is this? That's quite big. Or you could just simply stamp on edges. Oh dear, maybe I won't use the stamp because it just, one, I'll get a bit messy, and two, I'm not sure what I'm doing. You know what, I'm going to cheat. So I've been playing around with this. So this is the butterfly that I cut out using some of the designer series paper. So you could use it that way. I've cut circles from Calypso Coral and White, so you could do all. So there's all sorts of things you can do. This was an oval that I cut, and then I cut the butterfly out. So you could also use something like that. And I'm actually going to cheat, and I'm going to be naughty, and I'm going to do this because it's something a little different. So I have my piece of white, I have my piece of designer series paper. Now the question is, do I want to use the whole thing or not? So I know my white measures 14.4. Yep. So if I want this to sit inside it, then I need to cut off half a centimetre from the 14.4, so that makes it 13.9. So if I make this 13.9 centimetres, then I know that will fit in there then, and that will fit quite nicely on there like that. Now if I'm using my square, which I could put it square on, I could use it as a diamond, I could put this on and make it into a banner. But what I'm going to do, and let's see how this works, maybe it won't work anyway, maybe I'll use the circle. So rather than squares, I'm using circles. Maybe not, maybe I will just stick with what I've got. Sorry, I'm waffling, but that's half the fun of doing card in a cuppa, is that sometimes you just, like I'm doing now, make it up as you go along. So do I want that in the middle? No, I do like it to one side, and maybe that's what I will do. I think that's like that. No, I'm just going to glue that to one side. I would say talk amongst yourselves, but that's not an option. Well, you can message each other, I guess. So I'm actually going to use this suite of products for next month's main class. So if you've already bought it, don't worry, because I will do a basic kit where you just get the cardstock and the paper and things like that, and then obviously you can use your own stamps and dies that you have, or you can add on the stamps and dies. So the plan is that will be the last Saturday in April. Details will be going up on the blog and the Facebook page very, very soon. So I could just add the butterfly. Do I want to even just add it on here? Oops. I think I just gone and crushed his antenna, whatever they call them. They're not beadly boppers or dealy boppers, although they kind of look like that. trying to think, which is a bit painful. You know what? I'm just going to stick. I'm going to cheat today. My brain's not quite with it today. I don't know what's going on. As I said, I'm kind of excited, but also, well, worried's not the right word, but about this afternoon. I know it's going to be fine, but there you go. I haven't got to go very far. It's about 6 mile drive, so I can't be stopped and told off if I'm going too far. Right, I think I quite like that, actually. I think I'm going to go that way. So I'm going to glue this on. Husband had his last week and he feels fine, so that's the main thing. And then you can, actually thinking about it, you could just put this to one side and put a sentiment on there. And maybe that's what I should do now that or you could even put it on the top. You see, as I say, we're talking about if I start playing around and I'm busy talking and the mind's going around, then I come up with things. So let's quickly go find a stamp set to use. I guess I could always use my go-to, which is the Itty Bitty Greetings, because it has so many options in there that and I've done it again. I've stuck this on before I've actually stamped it, but hey ho. And because I always say you should actually stamp before you stick, but there you go. Oh, it's Easter soon. Do I make it an Easter card? We've already had Mother's Day here in the UK, or Mothering Sunday. I think I'm just going to use the one that says celebrate. So all I have to do is find it on here. There it is. It's my own fault because I've not stuck any of the stickers on the back of this. Actually, I can actually use a small block. Don't go when you're putting your stamps onto blocks. Don't go mad. Don't go putting small ones onto larger blocks, because I don't know about you. I kind of have a habit of rocking. So if I put that onto a large stamp or onto a large block and I ink up, chances are I'll end up with some ink around the edge. And then when you come to stamp, if your hands are not completely steady, you could end up touching those edges onto your cardstock, which is why, as I was saying, I always say you should stamp before you stick. But anyway, so we've got a Saffron butterfly, so I'm going to use some Calypso Coral ink. Let's see. Yep. So I don't need to go mad with it. I'm just going to, because I'm going to put this on as a diamond rather than a square, I want to stamp across that bottom point. Silence. There we go. That worked. So that's going to go on there. My butterfly is going to go on here. And I want... Oh, you know what? I did glue that. No, that's the butterfly that I glued. I had a spare one. So I've still got some glue. It's still wet, so that's okay. So I can just put that on here. Like that. And I will put some dimensionals on the back of that, just to add some depth. Probably need, if I put one in each corner, that should be more than enough. It's not like this butterfly weighs a ton or anything. So I'll just peel those off quickly. So that can go on here. And I'm going to put it central to the card. I mean, you could put it over or in the middle of that, but I'm going to put it central to the card. Like that. I'm going to put a... So I'm going to use my take your pick tool, so I'm going to just pick up a small one there, put that on there. I think I'm actually going to add some more just on the white. Oops. Just to add a little bit of bling. So if I just put like a little line here of them. I think 3 should be enough. There we go. So that's that. You could take your wing Stella to your butterfly and make it, perhaps you can do that. And you could just apply that. Again, I should have done this before I put it on here, but hey, that's what going live means. It is literally that. So I'm just applying it just to the tips here. A little bit on the body. And the more you apply on this, obviously the more it will show. But I quite like a subtle effect. So that's that. And then that just leaves me to do the inside. Don't need that. So I've got my inside piece here. I was going to use that for a minute, but I realised actually that's the bit that I lopped off the bottom. And okay, anyone see? Pretend I haven't lost it. I have no idea what I've done with it. I had it a minute ago, didn't I? Maybe it's inside. Nope. Okay. Where's my strip of that gone? Oh, ha. I think that's it here. So I've got my strip. This time I'll try and make sure that my butterflies are the right way around. So I'm just going to glue this in. All of you will have a piece that is slightly longer than required. But again, I'd rather give you a little bit too much than not enough. So I can take that right to the edge or leave a little border. So this time I'm going to leave a border. That's that. I'm going to trim that off. So if you want your card and a Cuppa kits for next month, you've got until Sunday to order them, because after that I'm doing all the prep and sending them out, because obviously we need them for the first Wednesday in April. So this coming Sunday is the last day to order April's kits. If you visit oakvillecrafts.com, then you can just click on the top of the page where it says kits and classes, and then just follow the links through, and then that will take you to where you can order them. So I think that is it for today. So that's my card that I've made this morning. And then these are the 2 that I had made beforehand. So I hope you've enjoyed those. I will get these up on my Facebook live, my Facebook page. I said I'll try and do it this morning, but I probably won't have enough time because I'm so dash out and go and get my injection. But they will certainly be there. If they're not there on there today, they will be on there tomorrow. Okay. So card and the Cuppa kits, you need to order by Sunday. There will be a butterfly class in April, and the full details of that will be going on my blog too by the weekend as well. So I think that's it. Anything you need supply wise, then please let me know. Don't forget, today there is free shipping, so you save £4.95, and it's actually a good reason to use the free shipping. And don't forget that with the new catalogue, that means that there will be new in colours, which then sadly means that there will be some colours retiring. So if you are after anything that are in the 2019 to 2021 in colour range, so that is Purple Posy, Rococo Rose, Pretty Peacock, Seaside Spray, and what's the other one? Oh, going not Terracotta Tile. Then why not take advantage of the free postage and get that ordered, because once the retirement list is announced next week, things will go very, very quickly. So it's a good time to get a hold of everything. Okay, so that's it, and enjoy the rest of your day in the week, and I will see you next week. Next Wednesday, I have to take my mother to the doctor's in the morning, so I'll be doing a Facebook Live in the afternoon where I'll be sharing some more stamping techniques and tips. Okay, take care. Bye.